There is a potentially big bidding war coming for one of Leeds United's most hot prospects, because Leeds United do hold one of football's hottest properties at the moment, and us not going up as much as it has pained us a little bit has increased the interest in him. And it could easily spill out into a very, very big bidding war. So let's talk about all the interest, where it's come from, and ultimately what it means for Leeds United. So first up, why exactly do clubs want Crysencio Summerville? This feels like it is going to be an incredibly obvious answer. It feels like, because being the championship player of the season, a lot of teams in the Premier League are going to look down and go, he's got something about him. And he does. We all know this. I've just realised I forgot to take off my snuddy thing. Brilliant. As you can tell, I'm still not 100% with it. In addition to that, he got himself 20 goals and 10 assists in all competitions, which was absolutely incredible and basically was one of the reasons that we were as good as we were for vast chunks of the season. And add on to the fact that he's young enough to have a hell of a lot of growth potential, it's easy to see why Premier League clubs are like, maybe. Considering, they are signing right now the championship player of the season, and next season, he's just going to get better. Add on to that the fact that he's already done all right in the Premier League. He scored a winner against Liverpool at Anfield, which, in the vast list of things that you can do as a footballer, is a biggie. And he's more likely to be seeking a move after our playoff loss, which is depressing, but it means that it's going to be a lot easier for other clubs to maybe tempt him away, and that means more clubs are going to have an interest. So, which of those clubs are interested? There's a lot of them, and a couple of them are legitimately surprising. A couple of them, well, specifically one, I thought, why are you in this conversation? But it makes sense now I think about it a little bit more. So first up is Chelsea. They have been rumoured quite significantly to be sniffing around Crysencio Summerville and going, you know what, he might fit into our squad. And it makes sense because he is a young player and they are youth heavy in terms of their recruitment. They will sign young players, put them on 9-10-year contracts and say, cool, you're a Chelsea player now and you will be for as long as we want you to be, which from the players' side, don't hugely understand. From the club side, I kind of get. And I can see why that would be potentially tempting for Chelsea to go, look, really young, really good winger. Let's sign him, see how it goes, especially since he'll cost less for them than Mudryk did. Add on to the fact that they need to replace Raheem Sterling at some point soon, who is 31. He's very clearly not getting any younger, and his finishing is awry at best. I think Crysencio Summerville could be the perfect sort of replacement for a Raheem Sterling, at least in the years to come. He fits into their existing strategy, and I think it is very understandable that Chelsea are having a look. Another club that has been rumoured to be having a look for a long time is Liverpool. Now, one of the main reasons for this is the Feyenoord link, the Arne Slot link, which adds up and makes the sort of connection between the winger and the potential manager make sense. Liverpool will want to sign players that Slot wants in this summer window, purely because it'll make him a bit happier. It'll mean he's got the squad that he needs to play his style. And I feel like that link just sort of makes sense to me. I can see Crysencio Summerville potentially moving because he's got that Feyenoord link up already in place. And it adds up a little bit. And there is a side there that tends to look for value in good deals in Liverpool. They will look to sign players for cheaper than other clubs would be looking and eventually going, okay, we'll develop you. So, for example, why have I forgotten the name of the Japanese central midfielder? But they got him incredibly cheap, which was fantastic for them. Add on to the fact that they got the likes of Andy Robertson from a championship club on the cheap. There is clearly history with a Liverpool squad of sign young, talented championship players and develop them going forwards. Plus, they could be losing some clinical wingers soon. Mo Salah isn't getting any younger, and he has repeatedly hinted that he wants to make a move with Saudi clubs interested every single summer. I can see that potentially being a thing. What I can see less likely being a thing is the potential for a move to Manchester United. This one I don't like the look of. And please, please don't go to them, because that would be a little bit of a kick in the teeth. Us not going up and then the star player of the season going to the other side of the Pennines would be a little bit of a kick in the teeth. I'll be completely honest with you, but it's very obvious that they need more quality in wide areas. They ain't doing too good there. And there's always been rumours around Marcus Rashford potentially making a move, and Anthony's been a disappointment, and Garnacho's still really young, and Amad Diallo has been playing hopscotch over the line of is he leaving or is he staying. that it makes sense to me that they would look at wingers and they would, with a new ownership having come in, look at making actually intelligent signings, which Crysencio Summerville would be. But admittedly, it feels a little bit too smart for them. It feels like something that they wouldn't have done in the past, and I'm holding on to hope that that means that's not what they will do now or into the future. I think if he does go to Manchester United, we will look to sell at a premium purely so we can say, okay, we held out as long as we could, but they just threw obscene amounts of cash at us. They threw £40 million at us. Other clubs were offering 30. It made sense. But I think if it is Manchester United, we will push that price as high as we can, just because that is the better look for the ownership. And the next link sort of links in with the last link, but not for a reason that you'd expect. It's Crystal Palace. Because reportedly Scum are looking at signing Michael Olise, again, in those wide creative areas. And in response, Crystal Palace would need a replacement. Crystal Palace would need someone that can both score goals and create them, and Crysencio Summerville would be that, and he suits the model that Palace recruit with. They signed Ebereeze, Adam Wharton, Michael Olise, all from championship clubs where they were the outstanding players. They were the shining stars of that club, and they've gone into Palace and played very, very quickly and sort of built themselves a little bit of a brand there. I think if he goes to Palace, he would see significantly more game time. And from his perspective, I think it makes a little bit more sense. Although I can potentially see the argument in maybe you go to a bigger club because bigger pay. But I think for Summerville's career, something like a Palace makes a little bit more sense. But ultimately, what does this all add up to? This means that multiple big money sides are desperately looking for the same player, and we don't need to take the earliest offers. That transfer debt conversation that everyone is having right now doesn't relate to FFP. That's not something that we need to get done before the 30th of June for FFP purposes, or we'll face a points deduction. It's just a cash flow thing. So we don't need to force through the sale of Summerville any quicker than it naturally happens. And that means that we've got time and we can play multiple clubs' interest against one another. So it turns into that nice little bidding war as the numbers keep shooting up and we make as much money as we can. It's especially useful because, at least publicly, Crysencio Summerville hasn't made his interest out loud. So the issue with Rafinha, we could only sell for a certain amount because that's what Barca were offering, and Rafinha wanted Barca. But for Summerville, we've not had that conversation. We've not had the Summerville only wants to go to Liverpool, or Summerville only wants Chelsea, or Manchester United, or Palace. And that makes things a little bit easier for us because it means that we can pick and choose where he can go depending on what bids come in. Ultimately, Leeds can earn more money. Summerville can get the Premier League football that he wants and, let's be honest, deserves. And we get to make a buying club that little bit poorer than if they were to come in and buy him without a bidding war going on. But ultimately, as always, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below what you think is going to happen with the entire Summerville saga as we go through this summer. What it means for the club, what sort of budget we're going to get, how do we replace him, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you aren't yet, that's always massively appreciated, and you could even be a channel member. All that money is still going to Prostate Cancer UK. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. I think I'm still a bit too scramble-brained to be recording. But you know what? I've done it now, so it's fine. See you later.